Hey, this is Notser, and we're checking out another Pan-Asian destroyer. This is the Tier 7 Gadjah Mada. It is Indonesian, and prior to that, I believe British. So it's got 120mm guns. It's very familiar if you've played the Gallant. Now, it doesn't have access to the single-launch torpedo systems. It's using the deep-water torpedoes. But pretty much everything else is exactly what I expect from a Tier 7 version of a British destroyer. It's got limited torpedo arcs, as you probably guessed. I was checking at the beginning of the game. The turret traverse is somewhere in between American and pretty much everyone else. So it's fast, but it's not blazing fast in the turret traverse. It has the smoke that you expect on Pan-Asian destroyers, and it also is using speed boost because that's the only thing you can equip in that slot. So this game, I chose to play it completely different than any other Pan-Asian destroyer that I've checked out. This is a gun-focused build. Why is it a gun-focused? Well, I was really disappointed with the situations that I could use deep-water torpedo, which are very limited considering they can't target destroyers. And that's how I play most of my ship classes, regardless, or types, regardless of what tools I have. I really want to take out the DDs. They are the best, most important type in the game to win the battle. They might not contribute the most damage, they might not get the most kills, but they will most likely dictate whether your team lives or dies, and it's directly related to them themselves surviving the battle. And if I have no use of torpedoes, well, that limits probably 20-30% of my kills that I'm used to getting on my Americans, my Germans, and my Japanese. You know, if you play something like a Soviet destroyer, it's very rare that you get a purely destroyer kill. You've got terrible concealment, so you usually are just dumping damage on targets in the background. And that's basically what we're going to end up doing here. We have a friendly that can spot the enemy DDs. I noticed that the enemy destroyer, the Farragut, is going towards B point, and I was initially going, but then I'm like, there's 2, 3, 4 ships that potentially will be able to take damage, so I'm just going to fire on them from my smoke. So the build is preventative maintenance, adrenaline rush, last stand, basic firing training, demolition expert, and concealment. And that's everything is built and functioning to enhance the guns, use the torpedoes every so often. That's what I was thinking. Why didn't I go advanced firing training? Yeah, you can see how long these hang in the sky already. I just don't think it's a reasonable expectation that you're going to hit with the velocity of British/American guns, because that's pretty much what we're rocking right now. These are British guns. These will be what the Brits rock on pretty much their DD line whenever it comes out. But it does pretty good damage. I mean, we're setting fires on the target. It's diving down for 1500. I'm not complaining at all about that damage output. Neither should you. But there's nothing really sexy about this, right? You are quite literally taking advantage of the extreme length of time that your smoke exists in the world and just firing on targets, setting fires. Very rarely will I ever get a chance to send torpedoes because they just won't ever get close enough. 8-kilometer ranges, it's not unusable, but it might as well be. Especially if there's an unspotted DD. I noticed that there's one on my rear flank behind an island. Can't really focus on that right now. Plus, there's friendlies that are around me. If they can't make it do something else, I don't know what. Smoke's gone. But look how quickly my smoke is back up. This was the line that initially the smoke would potentially stay forever. They scrapped that and they gave probably a 10 or 15 second window, but it's still a line where smoke is just dominating your strategy. Friendlies are doing massive damage to this guy, and I'm going to try and help. So yeah, it basically feels like this is what you're supposed to do. Use the guns, sit in smoke, do massive damage. If you get an opportunity that there's no DDs on the map and there's no aircraft carriers and enemies are willfully sailing within 8 kilometers of your ship, well, yeah, you can use your deep water torpedoes, but I'm not really finding a lot of success with them. I find that they have a very limited target selection, and most likely you won't have a chance to use them in any meaningful capacity because the game will already be decided. And I figure if the game's already decided, why not invest in the part of the game that isn't decided? You know, it's sort of the argument that I have when people say, oh, why didn't you go superintendent, superintendent, superintendent? Well, I'm not going to go superintendent because it's only giving me 1 extra heal charge. But 1 extra heal charge is so important on a battleship. Yeah, but how often do you get to that scenario? I probably get there 20% of the time. Oh, but 20%? That's so huge. Yeah, but is it as big as something like a drone rush? Or concealment? Well, of course not. Those are helping you every single battle. And it's a measurable improvement over not using the skill at all. And that's my desired skill set. I prefer to pick up skills that will improve every single battle 3 to 5%, rather than one battle 10%, and the rest insignificant. So yeah, that's my thought process for why I was going a gun build on this, and honestly, it feels pretty good. I mean, we did 48,000 damage. I don't know that it's because the British, or not because the British destroyer is going to be HE focused too. I mean, I don't know that, but demo, basic firing, I felt like I did a significant amount of damage to every target, and I always had smoke, and it was always frustrating for them. I was great at dueling enemy DDs. I didn't need to use my torpedoes. I would love the opportunity to use my torpedoes, but it just doesn't seem like people are going to allow that to occur. Well, what are they going to allow me to do? Do regular damage with my guns. It's enemy Atlanta, switch targets to me a little bit, but I'm going to move north. I noticed that there's a couple DDs potentially moving to go after my friendly aircraft carrier. This game is going by rapidly, and all I want to do is help my team wherever I can. You know, objective control. Let's take out enemy DDs. 120 millimeter guns. They are, you know, big enough that I don't need to worry about inertia fuse high explosive. They work just fine. They do tons of damage. If this is what the British destroyer line is going to play like, oh boy, I'm going to enjoy their guns. The Gallant, I wasn't impressed with the Gallant guns. I felt like they could have been better. But maybe I was playing it incorrectly. Maybe I was committed too much. That torpedo arc is a big deal too, and it is an issue on the Gallant, and it's an issue on this particular ship. So it feels like the Pan-Asians are definitely deep water torpedo, smoke, radar, but overall, their primary tool is going to be the guns, and their guns are slightly different depending on the tier. You know, you got 130 of the Soviets, you got 120 of the British, you have the 127 of the Americans, and I think there's even some Japanese in there. So each tier has a slightly different gun system that you want to either ignore because it's so bad, or enhance because it's so good. So we assist in taking out one target, and man, we're just doing tons of damage to these guys. 66,000? I mean, the game just flew by. Not a single friendly taken out. Enemy Gneisenau does fire on us, and he does do a little bit of damage, but it's whatever, right? I don't care if I die. I could drop in a smoke, and I probably will in a second. And that feels like the effective universal strategy that will work every single match in these ships so far. Dropping into smoke, firing from smoke, and doing your thing. If you get up into tier 8, 9, and 10, and you want to try using the radar, well, guess what? I probably would discourage you from playing with a gun system, because most of the time, especially until they change AP on a battleship, literally every class can kill you. Every type will destroy you. And you have nothing against aircraft carriers. You have no torpedoes against enemy DDs. Cruisers and battleships, they don't care. They're going to do tons of damage. But hey, we did a ton of damage in this game, and I enjoyed my time with the ship. I'm pretty excited to play more of these ships, and I will continue to explore this strategy and other strategies. We did 1,500 base XP, 4 kills, 2 base captures, pretty much what you want from a DD. I hope you enjoyed seeing it, and of course, all of it HE focus with 21,000 damage and fires. Not a lot of potential damage shot at us, but that's by design. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will catch you next time.